Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Over on total for the daily, we did try to break our support level, but we have an indecision candle, so we are at a bit of a fight. This is an influx point. We're going to need to make this a higher low if we have any hope to continue forward and push our altcoins up. Remember, total is the market cap of all the altcoins besides Ethereum. Our stochastic is starting to drop. VWAP is pulling back. Momentum does look like it wants to reject, and that money flow is staying in the red. If that VWAP gets a breakdown, then we would be set up to see some strong red candles, especially with these lower time frames still holding in bearish territory. Over on the 1 hour, we did drop down very quickly. We didn't get very much sideways action in between this drop, so we are making a pump in response to that drop. Remember, when you go up one way, when you go quick one way, you do make an opposite move. So if you go up very quick, you're usually coming back down. If you go down very quick, usually you will retrace some of that back up. That being said, we are hitting a pretty decent resistance area where we have some consolidation back here, candle bodies back here, and some consolidation back here. So very strong support resistance area, and we're going to need to flip this, making higher highs with higher lows if we're going to continue forward. Our VWAP does want to push through the bullish territory, but we have a lower low and a potential lower high. So keep a very close eye on this VWAP. If this continues and that VWAP starts to pull back and breaks that neutral, then momentum will start to pull back, money flow will remain in the red, and we would likely invalidate our MPP projection of getting a higher high and push for a possible lower low to continue a bearish continuation, as the highs and lows right now do not connect very well in a straight channel. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, it looks like we're just as indecisive here as well. So again, exercise some caution. We need some strong green candles if we're going to push forward. As stochastic is starting around, RSI is flat, but if stochastic makes a break, RSI will lead price lower. VWAP is trying to push down. Our momentum does want to reject, and that money flow is staying in the red. So very similar to total. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a pretty quick drop down. We did end up making a bit of a bounce, but watch out for this to be a lower high. If this is a lower high, our MPP is projecting a push back down toward around that 80K, 79K range. But if we are able to sustain and we see a higher high, I would watch for that push toward that 86, 88K, and then a flip of that value area high. If we can get that, then we do still have the possibility to push up to that 100K range, but right now things are looking a little more favorable to the bears. Right now, the VWAP is favoring bearish. We do want to come back up, but watch, we need a bullish trend like back here if we're going to continue a push forward and break away from this consolidation. Otherwise, if this VWAP rounds away, momentum will continue to push down, money flow will break into the red, and higher time frames will continue to weaken. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we did have this rising channel that invalidated our flag scenario, so we'll clean all this up. So that did give us that push down. I would still watch out for a push lower because we are struggling to push above. We wanted a strong green candle to invalidate that long upper shadow candle. With this indecision candle that we have, that long upper shadow, followed by this indecisive candle where the wick above and below are almost the same, that does show we're not too sure where we want to go, and we need a decisive push forward in order to give us bullish momentum. Right now, I would watch the lower time frames because it does look a little bit more favorable to the bears in my opinion. Our stochastic is starting to round, RSI is pretty flat, VWAP is starting to pull back, momentum is rounding, and that money flow is remaining in the red. So the daily doesn't look too positive, but this 1 hour, that VWAP is in the bullish territory with green money flow. So that's positive, but that VWAP does also have a lower low. So if we form a lower high here, momentum will start to weaken, our money flow will go into the red, and price action would have that chance to push it right around that 81, 80K range, which there's a 66% chance of that happening if we cannot break away from around this 85K. If we can't get back above and over that 85K, then the bears likely could have control over us. Over on graph for the daily, we are pretty indecisive here as well, breaking that support level, so not too positive there. Again, watch for total. Total needs to make that break if it's going to help lead most of our altcoins up, which graph usually would follow. Today, it's not. That just shows how total can encompass all of our altcoins, but it's not going to be exact because sometimes one coin or one kind of grouping of coins may do something that another group won't. Our stochastic is pulling back, VWAP is starting to push into bearish territory, momentum is starting to round with the red dot, and money flow is in the bearish territory. By that I mean you could have people getting on AI coins, and then AI coins shoot up, and the rest of the market doesn't go anywhere. That's kind of the thing that I'm kind of mentioning. Over on the 1 hour for graph, though, we are in a bit of a bearish continuation. Again, watch for this rejection. If we continue with the red candle here, we would have a lower high, which could be followed by lower lows that do not connect, which would give us that bearish continuation. And that does look like it wants to point us right around that 7453. VWAP is attempting to make a lower high as well, so keep a close eye on that VWAP. If it breaks down, momentum will continue lower, money flow will remain in the red, and higher time frames will start to weaken. Over on XRP for the daily, we have a long lower shadow candle, so we tried to break away, but bulls managed to push us up. I would watch for further bullish momentum. Otherwise, if the rest of the market pulls back, it's likely XRP would follow. It does somewhat do its own thing here and there, just because of the lawsuit and other things that have happened to it. Our VWAP is starting to pull back. Momentum is bullish, but not very strong, and money flow is starting to pull back, so watch that VWAP. If that VWAP continues lower, momentum and money flow will break away. Our stochastic is starting round, which will weaken that RSI if it does not reverse soon. Over on the 1 hour, we do have some lower lows with a potential lower high here, so again, watch out for a bearish continuation that would attempt to bring us right around that $1.80, $1.90 range. Our VWAP is attempting to make a lower high after getting a lower low, bringing that money flow lower. So watch that VWAP close. If that VWAP rejects, that money flow is going to stay in the red. Momentum will start to push away, and price action will push down to the support. But if that VWAP can come back down, test that neutral, and make a higher low, then we do have the chance to push to higher areas. The MPP does say about 220 at max. So I would watch. That's going to be very dependent on breaking away from the zone we're at, though. We need higher highs with higher lows. Otherwise, bears are going to have that control over us. And last but not least, we have Anchor for the daily. We did have that descending channel that did break us up, so we did go counter to the rest of the market. Again, that's an example of how some coins can have their own thing going on. Stochastic is starting to pull back, RSI is pushing forward, VWAP is trying to bounce, pushing momentum higher, but if the rest of the market continues to sell off, I would watch for a bit of a retracement. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a gap below that we are currently filling. We did fill all of our gaps, so that is positive. Remember, Anchor loves its gaps, and gaps have an 80% likelihood to fill. There is one way back here, though, right around that 1582. Momentum is starting to round. VWAP is starting to break down. Money flow is in the red, so I would watch that VWAP. That VWAP is making a shorter high, and if it pushes into bearish territory, will lead momentum lower, causing that money flow to remain red and pushing higher time frames lower. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe, and join us in that Discord.